I'm Vinny Politan. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight in Closing Arguments. We begin this Friday night with big breaking news in the case involving the doomsday couple, Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell. Let's go right out to Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter, who's in Knoxville, Iowa tonight, but has breaking news from Idaho. What can you tell us, Chanley?
Good evening, Vinny. According to multiple unnamed sources to Court TV, we are learning that the Fremont County Prosecutor's Office is to convene a grand jury investigation into the deaths of J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan, and Tammy Daybell. It is set to take place May 17th through the 20th at the Fremont County Courthouse in East Idaho, and that subpoenas are going out to members of the community to participate in this grand jury proceeding.
This is huge. This is absolutely huge, because we've been sitting here month after month after month wondering what's going on in the investigation, and it seems at this point, you mentioned the children, but also Tammy Daybell.
Yes, we learned I guess a few months ago, that the Fremont County Prosecutor's Office was handed back the investigation of Tammy Daybell's death. Remember that it was being investigated by the Attorney General's office there in the state of Idaho for months, and at the request of the new Fremont County prosecutor, that case was handed back down to the local authority. And we learned soon after that the autopsy of Tammy Daybell was complete and in the hands of the Fremont County Sheriff's Office. Since that time, they've been investigating this case, and with those now results, they are going to impanel this grand jury, not only into her death, but like I said, J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan. And this is a method by which prosecutors can use. They can indict by grand jury, or they can do a felony information or file it by a complaint, which is how we've seen both Chad and Lori charged criminally in the past. Here, though, we know grand jury proceedings are secret proceedings. This is a way that prosecutors can protect a lot of the information, evidence in the case through a grand jury proceeding, as opposed to filing a complaint and then going to a preliminary hearing, which is what we aired live on Court TV for Chad Daybell's criminal charges last summer. So it's interesting that they're going this route. And from what I'm hearing from our East Idaho and Idaho attorneys that we always talk to, it's rare for prosecutors, especially in that area, to use this type of proceeding to seek an indictment on criminal charges.
But I think you're right on that it's the secrecy of the grand jury proceedings and not making all of this evidence necessarily public. And so let's put this all together now, because right now Lori Vallow has a trial date, I believe, in August for some charges in Madison County, and then there are other charges that are pending with a trial date in 2022. Bring us, kind of put the whole picture together for us on where we stand right now.
Right, a lot of moving parts in this case, as we know. You're correct. The misdemeanor counts that initially were brought against Lori Vallow, Lori Daybell, her legal name now, are pending still in Madison County with that trial date over the summer. The felony case against her and her husband, Chad Daybell, for the concealment or alteration of evidence that was stemming from the discovery of the remains of Tylee and JJ in Chad Daybell's backyard last summer. That's pending in Fremont County, and the trial date was just continued or moved at the request of the defense in this case. There's no firm date yet set for that, but it's interesting now with this new grand jury investigation happening in just a week and a half or so away from now. If a judge or if these jurors, grand jurors, decide to indict, or they find sufficient cause that to bring murder, for example, or whatever charge the prosecutor is seeking in this grand jury, then it could lead to a combination, some kind of way where they combine all of these into one case in Fremont County just for efficiency purposes.
And that drastically would change the nature of the case if you combine Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell, and you include what happened to the remains in Chad's backyard, along with the deaths of Chad Daybell's wife, along with the deaths of JJ and Tylee, and put it all together. To me, that is a much more comprehensive and a stronger case for prosecutors because you're telling a bigger story. And every time we've covered the story, Chanley, we've always have to weave together all the layers and all the people who have passed away. And if all of this is brought in front of one jury at the same time, to me, a much more difficult case to defend.
Exactly, and it is something that, you know, we've been seeing in the court file little leads of the special prosecutor Rob Wood, who is a special prosecutor in Fremont County. This is the Fremont County prosecutor actually doing this grand jury, so it's also another factor of whether they will combine forces and work together, or if the Fremont County prosecutor herself will actually take over all of it. That's another unanswered question. And that's again if this grand jury does do anything with this proceeding. But also in the court files, we've learned, I think we were talking about it a couple weeks ago, about this new DNA that the prosecutor Rob Wood was talking about. They want to test some DNA that was found on a tool on Chad Daybell's property, some DNA found in an apartment. Not sure whose apartment, maybe Lori's or Alex Cox at the time. But again, when they say that this investigation is ongoing, it has definitely been ongoing. Building this, we've known from the start they've been wanting and trying to pursue the ultimate murder charges or conspiracy to commit murder charges for the deaths of Tylee and JJ. And now with Tammy Daybell's autopsy complete, it back in the county prosecutor's hands, it seems as though she's trying to combine all of it together into the same common scheme, facts, plan, and ultimate responsibility of most likely Chad and or Lori. And that's another thing, Vinny, is this for just Chad Daybell, just for Lori Daybell, or both of them? That's something we don't know for sure.
There are a lot of unanswered questions, but this is a major, major development. May 17th to the 20th, this grand jury will be listening to evidence, and it's related to Tammy Daybell, JJ, and Tylee. Big, big breaking